A short time ago, on the 25th of September, Mustang 22 was brought down out of the sky. 5 of our buddies were all crew members from D Company on that aircraft, and all died. John Flynn, Adrian Stump, Ken Ross, and Tawny Baum, and last and definitely not least, Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart I considered a genuinely good guy. He had different beliefs. He didn't put it off on anybody. Come to find out, Pat and I shared a lot of the same beliefs. Roberta, I'm sorry for your loss too.
Sergeant Patrick D. Stewart was a soldier in the U.S. Army who died in 2005 when his Chinook helicopter was shot down by a rocket-propelled grenade. Adding outrage to a tragic death, the Veterans Affairs Administration refused his widow's request to imprint the symbol of his Wiccan faith on his headstone. At the time, the VA claimed that Wicca was not among the 38 religions they formally recognized. But for the Stewarts, their beliefs were the centerpiece of their love and marriage.
Patrick and I preferred the term pagan to Wiccan because of the derogatory perception of Wiccan. Wiccan, witch, Hollywood movies, everything really used the word Wiccan and witch more than they used pagan, so people were a little less intimidated if you said I was pagan. I was always spiritual before meeting him, but the day I met him, it was an instant attraction. There was something there. Our eyes met and we both knew that we knew each other. Around July of '04, rumors started flying that since Afghanistan was so much like Nevada that they were going to go ahead and be taking our unit. So Patrick handled it very well and really didn't have an opinion except his pride to do as his commander-in-chief ordered him to do. And did his best, I think, to ease my mind and try to get me through the issue of him going away, as I had a sense that he wasn't coming back.
Unfortunately, Roberta's intuition would bear out her worst fears, and on September 25, 2005, Roberta received a cryptic call from her husband, telling her he was going on a mission, explaining that he had a very bad feeling.
I woke up about 6 o'clock or so that morning, and I woke up and my heart was broke. I can't explain the feeling. I just woke up and my first thing was I just couldn't feel my husband anymore. And I knew in my heart that something was wrong.
Something indeed had gone wrong. During a firefight with Afghani insurgents, the fuel line of Patrick's Chinook helicopter was hit by an RPG. All 5 men, including Patrick, were killed instantly.
They finally came and, knocked on the door, gave us the news, and like I said, it was a horrifying event. You dread the day that those Class A uniforms come up. So they informed me my husband had been shot down, and as his unit came home for visitation, each of them spoke with me personally. Pat was flying with one of the best pilots, and if they could have landed that day, John Flynn would have been the one that could have done it along with Pat and the rest of that crew. Unfortunately, it exploded and hit a granite mountain, causing complete and total destruction of the entire crew and the Chinook, as his crew members from the other 2 Chinooks watched in horror as their friends went down.
And the horror would not end for Roberta anytime soon. The conflagration of her husband's exploded Chinook helicopter made identifying his body a long, tortured process. But even Roberta could not imagine that her fight to honor her husband's memory had only just begun.
John Flynn's plaque had come in with his Christian cross, and his wife had called and asked me if I would like to go down and go ahead and make sure that we place our boys together. Since they died together, they needed to be honored next to each other. So I went in and went to, go ahead and see the plaques, and Patrick's plaque wasn't there, and I asked them why. And they indicated that there was 38 emblems that I could choose from, and because Wiccan, which was on his dog tags, was not an approved emblem on the list of the 38, they didn't order his plaque. So I proceeded to fill out the paperwork and checked other and put Pinnacle. And they gave me this huge application and said, you have to pick one of the 38 and only one of the 38. I really was baffled how a soldier could die and not be allowed to have his emblem of belief above his name as his fellow crew members. And that's when I started to research and realize that the Wiccan faith had been working on this close to 9 years. but no other widows would stand up and go public. They wouldn't speak of it. So to me, I had no doubt in my mind that it was complete and total discrimination against our faith, and that it was a continued effort upon the Veterans Administration to uphold the personal views of our president. I had met the love of my life, and our entire relationship was based off our spirituality, what came from our heart, what we knew. Everything about us was our spirituality, and Patrick was my everything. I decided to fight because if I didn't, I felt that it made our love not as valid, and I wasn't willing to accept that, nor was I willing to accept discrimination. We took our vows underneath the pinnacle on our altar. The pinnacle was a huge part of our life. Every special moment in our life, there was a pinnacle present, and there would be one on my husband's headstone.